Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Friday so far. Today, I want to jump on and talk about a trade we took today, and we're rocking the Trust the Level shirt because that is exactly what we did today. We trusted the levels. We saw a pullback to a very key demand on the SPY at 531.50. We saw a reclaim above yesterday's lows around 533. We took those longs trusting that those demand levels would reclaim, that we could see that upside come back in, that the buyers would step back in above those key demand levels, and it was a beautiful 100% trade again today on the SPY. So I want to break down the levels with you guys, sort of share with you where these levels came from, what I was watching to get my long entry, and then, of course, as always, we have the live trade, fully live, unedited, from the Discord community where we trade live on a daily basis. That will be at the end of today's video, so make sure to stay tuned to watch how this entire trade unfolded live. So hope you guys enjoy this one. A little Friday video for you guys. If you enjoyed after watching, press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's jump into the charts. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and jump onto the charts. This is the 15-minute chart on the SPY. The market is still trading, and actually something I want to point out before we go any deeper is look at this pullback that just came in recently on the market today, right? A very aggressive pullback, and we can see once again that demand level right there being respected. A little bit of upside coming in off that. Again, the level being respected, finding these trade opportunities off these key levels. Very, very important to understand, and I hope that these videos are helping you try to find these levels and trust them and trade off them. The pre-market live streams, of course, the best place to come to have these levels set before the market opens. Now, coming into today, we had two key S&P 500 ETF levels, and I'll actually go into the ES futures as well. We had two levels. We had the 533, which was that previous day low, right? And we had the 531.50. Now, why do I have these levels on my charts? Well, the 533 level is a little bit more of a short-term level. We can see on Wednesday of this week, right here, we had a end-of-day support around that 533. And then yesterday, on Thursday, we had a very key hold of this level end of day, or sort of midday into end of day. So we can say, all right, 533 has been respected here day over day. Let's make sure we watch this again into the next day. So we wanted to watch that level today to see if we could hold that level. Now, we saw in the pre-market this morning, if we go down into the 1-minute chart, we can go to the pre-market. We saw this morning on pre-market, we had some economic data that drove the market lower, attempt to hold 533, failed, and moved lower into the 531.50. Now, why 531.50, right? Where does this level come from? Where does the 531.50 level come from? Well, we can see right here, and I'll mention this real quick, that 533 level is also stemming back from this high back here. Not as, important as well, but I just wanted to make sure you saw that 533 in the short term, which was very important. You can see our 533, right, and our 533 back here. But where did the S&P, where did the SPY hold today after that data dropped this morning? It held at a huge level, a monstrous level, probably one of the most important levels here for the bulls in the short term. That is right here. That is this high, that is this high, that are these highs, this high, and this high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. The S&P 500 ETF rejected this level over the last, let's call it, 2 to 3 weeks, right? We saw multiple rejections at this level. The S&P could not get above that level. Now, on Wednesday of this week, right, we had a straight upside move through that previous rejection point, that 531.50. Now, you guys know when I say that, usually if you come to the live streams, you know, I don't know if everyone knows, but we talk about straight up, straight down, right? If we're going to go straight up through a level, we're eventually going to come back down to retest it. It happens on the market all of the time. It's about who is patient and who's understanding of the key levels to find those re-entry points. We do not need to chase the straight up. We will retest that level and a better long opportunity will arise. And so what we can see here is that we had that 531.50 marked out, and look at the level that retested today and held perfectly after the economic data. So if we go into the 5-minute chart, into today's price action, we can see we moved lower, right into that 531.50 level, that retest level that we squeezed through on Wednesday, the retest level that we wanted to see get pulled back to, and we got that in the pre-market this morning perfectly. So we saw that maintain, right? We wanted to see, okay, 531.50, it's maintaining. Interesting, right? Interesting. But there's still one thing that I need to see before I long off that level. I need to see the market get back above the previous day lows, right? Because we still had 533 on our charts. So technically, right, let me go ahead and make this red. This is what the morning looked like. And this is what we were talking to with the group, right? This is what the morning looked like. If you look over on the right side of your chart, I'm actually just going to zoom in on that. The market looked like this, right? Before we could even see what was happening, the market looked like this. We broke down. We got under that 533. We held the 531.50, but there's one thing to be careful of here, right? We could move back higher here, come back into that 533, and turn the previous day lows into a rejection point. That was very possible today, right? It is possible that we were to break under the previous day lows, right? We go ahead and zoom in here day over day. Very possible that today we saw a break under previous day lows, right here, break under that low, come back up into it, turn it into a rejection point, and then fail lower. So we need to be careful of that. Now, what do we look for if we want to long this level? We want to see the market reclaim back above it, right? We want to see the market prove that it can get back above that previous day low, turn it into support once again, and then we can find that long entry. So we needed to wait today, right? You could have longed the 531.50. You could have taken that little bit of a long entry, but there was still one thing that was in your way. It was the previous day lows. And it's very possible, like I previously said, that you get that pop, you get that rejection at previous day lows, and you get that second attempt lower, right? The sort of dead cat bounce that we all know about. So we needed to wait for us to get back above that previous day low to really confirm that the market could push higher. And that is exactly where we took our long entry today. So if I go and dive into the 2-minute chart, which is where we traded the SPY today, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, and I'm going to turn on the after hour action. So right here, we're going to gray out the after hours, and we're going to look at the market open right here. So market opened, right? We were above that 533 level, but you can see the market opened and we instantly dropped below it. No trade, right? Hands off, cautious, patient, right? Waiting to see if we are really going to start to drop off this level, or are we going to try to reclaim it, right? And so what happened here this morning was quite interesting. And you'll hear this in the live trading. We were saying, hey, the selling is not really pushing this market down, right? The sellers don't seem strong enough to get this market to push lower. We keep on seeing this market try to push back higher. That selling pressure was not making the SPY drop aggressively. So we were talking about in the live chat, if we pop back above 533 and we reclaim that previous day low, right? This is previous day low right here, this red zone. If we reclaim back above it, let's look to set up a long entry above that level for upside. And so what happened here was, at least I'm assuming, right? A lot of shorts came in right in this zone, trying to short under previous day low. The market would not move lower. Eventually, we got this candle right here at 942. We got a push candle back above that previous day low, stopping out a lot of shorts early morning, right? Shorts that were trying to short under the previous day low. We didn't do it. We got a pop above, and this is where I started to get interested, right? Because now we are coming off our 531.50. That's good. We have reclaimed our previous day low. That's also very good. So now we're looking to see, can we maintain this level now, right? Let's turn this back to green, right? This is now our demand again because we are back above previous day low. Can we now maintain above this level for some long entries? We saw that pop, we saw that maintain, and we started to long in this area on the SPY, setting up our structured trade, right? Because now, what can we say, right? What can we say now? We can now say, all right, let's long here. Let's put a stop loss below that 533. Very tight risk, right? Structured idea. We now can long above 533. We are long the market over previous day lows. We now know where our stop loss is under that 533 level, and we can look for a positive risk-reward trade. In this case, it was a very great risk-reward because really, our only risk was that the SPY would drop back below 533, where we would stop out right there. It did not. It maintained, and we maintained. And that right there is trusting your level, right? Because you did your analysis. You know you're above previous day lows. You know 533 is an important level. You have to take that trade. You have to take that trade with the idea that as long as the SPY has got back above 533, has got back above previous day lows, is maintaining demand, we want to maintain and we want to look for that long entry. This is exactly what we did today. This was the sort of idea that we had to get into this position. A reclaim of previous day lows after holding a very important 531.50 level early morning. Now, you guys will see in the live trade, as we got this push higher, I was doing my job of sort of scaling off profits, right? Taking some off at 10%, 20%, 30%, protecting myself just in case the SPY did end up falling back lower, which is common. It's very possible, right? We want to make sure we're sort of taking some stabs off our position to protect ourselves from that potential downside move. Eventually, we got down into one or two contracts and we waited for that push higher, right? We just were sort of grinding this out. The way we were protecting ourselves was by scaling off profits. Protecting ourselves, being able to hold longer by scaling off profits, right? Because pretty much what we're doing in this situation is we're raising our stop. We're raising our stop by scaling off profits so that if the market does drop, we're not really losing any money. We're not losing anything compared to the profits that we've already taken. This is something I love to do. You know, it does limit my upside. That's definitely true, right? It limits how much I can make, but it also greatly limits my downside. And I, any day of the week, would rather limit my downside than worry about limiting my upside. My goal as a trader is to keep money in my pockets. And how do I do that? I limit my downside exposure. I limit my risk. And the way I limit my risk is I scale off profits, right? So I get comments on the YouTube videos sometimes saying, hey, why did you scale off so early? You could have done this, right? This is all hindsight trading. This is irrelevant, okay? This is just humans being humans, asking silly questions, being greedy. Why didn't you hold longer? Well, hey, guess what? If I did hold longer and the market did drop back lower, instead of losing my whole position, or instead of losing, let's just use an arbitrary number, instead of losing $500, hey, I lost $100 because I scaled out. I managed my risk. Important. There's nothing quite more important than managing risk in the market. We need to make sure we shift our mindset to that rather than just thinking about money, thinking about greed, thinking about what we could make. How about we think about what could we lose and how can we limit that, right? So you'll see in the live trading, I'm doing my job of scaling out as we get the push, eventually taking my last exit at 1050 right in the perfect spot. And I want to show you why. Why did I take my last profit off at 1050? It actually has to do with the NASDAQ futures, right? So here's the NASDAQ futures. And around 1050, the NASDAQ futures got into the previous day high around 19,120. That is right here, right? So right here, we saw the NASDAQ futures push higher right into that previous day high at 19,120. And I started to see some rejection come in there. And I knew if the NASDAQ is rejecting previous day high, that can drive the market lower. So I got it out of my last position at that level. You guys will see that. I'll actually go ahead and pop it up on the screen right now. You will see my entries and exits on the screen. And you will see my last exit was, I think, at 1052, where I started to see that NASDAQ future reject the previous day highs. That is right here. Let me go ahead and go to the 15-minute chart. You can see right here. I'll go ahead and zoom in. This was previous day highs on the NASDAQ. And right there is where we started to reject that previous day high. And that's where I said, let's take this off. It's 0 DTE. Let's take these profits, over 100% gain on that last runner. So that was our trade today. It was an S&P, and actually, you know what? Before we get into the live trade, I want to show you one more thing. I want to show you 53.50 on the ES, right? And so this also played a very large factor into my trade. You can see right here, we had a previous day low at 53.50 on the ES. And if we dive into the 5-minute chart, after we reclaimed 53.50, that's when the ES started to get its push. So that SPY 533 with that ES 53.50, and you can also see, look at this end of day, 53.50 holding again. Trading off of key levels, trusting them, playing them, using proper risk reward, and accepting consequences, right? You have to play off the levels. You can't make up ideas in your mind as to why you're taking positions. It has to be off a level. You have to trade it. You have to put on risk, right? The stock market making money, you have to put on risk. But you put on risk in an educated way. You have your stops, you have your levels, you look for levels to hold, and you trade the market using this information. So today, an awesome trade off 533 on SPY. I'm going to go ahead and run that live recording for you guys to see. I hope the little recap gave you an idea, at least, of what you're going to be watching here on the live trade. If you guys enjoyed this one, again, make sure to press that like button, subscribe to the channel, enjoy the live trade, and also, most important, enjoy your weekend. Peace out. For pullbacks on TSM if the market can show strength. And if that SPY, guys, if that SPY rips back over 533 on a little reclaim, I would be very intrigued by that. Make sure you're watching this. If that SPY can do a little rip back over 533, there is definitely a potential trade there. Because it seems like the downside's not that aggressive yet. Waiting. SPY is over 533 here. But we're still under 53.50. Okay, I'm long SPY. I'm long the SPY 533 calls. Stop under 533. I'm looking to see if this starts to hold yesterday's lows here. Big volume coming in there. Nice. Yeah, TSM on a very interesting retest. I see that. Okay, so now as long as that SPY is over 533 and over 53.50, I like upside. Let's see. Let's see if it can build. TSM on a very interesting retest, guys. Very interesting retest. Watch that TSM. That's VWAP N164. Yeah, the TSM looks great there. Anyone grab it? SPY looks great for more upside. I'm liking this 53.50 hold. TSM big pop off that level. Oh, that's beauty. Come on, SPY. Give me one more push here. Off the 53.50. Come on now. Looks good. NASDAQ just held 1923 perfectly there. Yeah, NASDAQ just held 1923 really well there. That should give you some confidence. I added 5 more contracts on my SPY calls on this pullback to 53.50. I'm not opposed to this pulling back a little bit still into 53.50. Trying to get a little bit more into it. Really like this little flag that's trying to form over 533 for now. Would really like to see this push. This looks like it could be another nice entry for a push. I don't have supply till 63 on ES. 62. And then 70, the highs. We also just held perfectly above yesterday's low, so that gives me confidence of upside. We're also holding perfectly over 53.50. And we're holding perfectly over 19,023 on NASDAQ. I might take some off here, up 20%. I think I am. Taking some off right there, up 20% on SPY. TSM is awesome. Kava's holding 86 really well. There we go. There we go. All right, taking more off right there. Up 30%. Holding half. Done. That's it. It's over. Not doing anything else today. Holding TSM. SPY longs. Nice little trade there. Friday. Trying to hold out a little bit here on SPY. Trying to get the full move, but we'll see if I can. I've decreased size to half. As long as this is over 533, this is fine. Nice job, Emil. I don't mind these aggressive pullbacks into these demand levels. I want to see how these react. But I'm just going to trust the 533. That's what I'm doing, right? I'm just trusting the 533. That's all I'm doing. If I'm going to try to milk this a little bit, I'm just going to be willing to give back some profits here and just have that general idea of if we're above yesterday's lows, the market potentially will want to grind higher. I'm keeping that mindset. I'm not going to change the mindset here because of some short-term rejection. I'm not going to panic over a 2-minute candle. I've done the right thing to de-risk some up 30%. And I will live with giving back profits if that's what it takes to see this out. You can grab me a dirty martini or an old fashioned the next time if I ever see you in Jersey. I'll take that. Another really nice pullback opportunity into 53.50 there on ES. Could definitely result in more upside here, as there's a failure to move lower under yesterday's lows. Let's see. We maintain the SPY position. We stay calm. Just think about the level. That's all. Just think about this green level having your back. Okay? This level has your back right here. She's got your back. There we go. There it is. Boom, baby. Beautiful day, guys. That's going to be it for me right there. That's back-to-back 3-figure percentage SPY trades. 2 days in a row.